What's up, BF fam? This is Big Tone coming at you from Bigtoneproductions, Beats and Feasts. Hey guys, today is all about comfort food. I'm going to be doing one of my favorite recipes, or one of my favorite comfort food recipes, I should say, beef stroganoff. And I have to make the distinction between beef stroganoff and ground beef stroganoff. I'm going to be using a cut of beef and not ground beef. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that going into this recipe. But you guys know by now, you've been with me for a long time. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. You know I post a video every Friday, but it's good to get that notification so you know when one comes out. And for those of you who are not subscribers, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, guys. All right, guys, let's get started with beef stroganoff. I'm gonna introduce my supporting cast, guys. This is a very simple, quick, very, very, very flavorful recipe for your family, or just for one if it's just you. But I'm going to show you my supporting cast. We're going to be using a little bit of beef broth. These are just simply some button mushrooms. You can use shiitakes if you wish, if you want to get fancy. Buttons work very good. I just cut them up. Our black pepper, my Lowry seasoning salt, some Himalayan pink sea salt. This is nothing more than just my steak. Now I use sirloin steak. You can use a cheaper cut. I like sirloin because it gets a little bit more tender. You don't have to cook it as long, but you can use a top round, cut it up in strips. But I'll show you this here in just a moment. A little bit of butter. Then I use sour cream, and I got some more here, but this is a different brand, but I'm just using because that's what I got on hand. And I use, this is an onion and a half cut up. Very roughly, just cut up onion. And then I also have some cornstarch, which I'll be showing you exactly what I do with it later. But that's the ingredients, very simple, guys. So let's get started with this recipe, okay? All right, guys, so to get started with this is very simple. We're just gonna sear off the meat here. Let me show you what I did with the meat. This is nothing more, like I said, than sirloin steak. I just cut it into strips about this big, and it's just nothing more than sirloin. So basically, we're gonna put those in the pan and ground them off, okay, guys? So, let me start here by adding a little bit of butter to the pan. And let me turn on my my pan here, guys. I almost forgot about it. But no worry, I am using the Copper Chef Pro. It gets hot super quick, guys. So let me turn it on here for us. All right, so again on the steak, I just want to let you know that I use sirloin, but you can use any cut of steak. I mean, this is a little bit more expensive. You can use like a top round or something like that. That is a little bit more tougher, but there's no big deal. All you got to do is cook it a little bit longer. It gets tender just like this. But this sirloin, just a little better cut of steak, but no big deal with that. All right, guys, so let's get the butter soft here and get it melted in the pan. Like I said, with the Copper Chef Pro, it takes no time whatsoever, guys. So we're gonna get this pan hot real quick. And we're gonna put in our meat. And we're not gonna crowd the pan as much, okay? We're just gonna put it in here. Probably do this in a couple batches. And I'll save the rest for another batch here. So as I'm cooking this here, let me get some paper towel for myself. As I'm cooking this here, I'm gonna be seasoning. I'm not gonna season before I put it in the pan. So we're just gonna simply start with my black pepper and my Himalayan sea salt, guys. And if you've been watching my videos, you know I'm heavy-handed on the black pepper. So I'll be touching that up here in just a moment when I flip some of the meat over. And now we're gonna use our pink Himalayan sea salt and my Lowry seasoning salt. Just a touch. As you can hear already, it's already started, okay, guys? So we're gonna cook this down and let this get nice and brown. I'll start the second batch here, but it shouldn't take very long, guys, okay? I'll be right back in just a moment. So as you can see, I've got the meat nicely browned here. It didn't take very long at all, so it's very quick, very easy for you guys. So we're gonna remove this pan here. I'm gonna set this aside here, and I'm gonna put my big boy pan on here. This is where I'm gonna be putting everything here. So we're gonna put that here. All right, guys, the next step is nothing more than cooking the onions and the mushrooms. So as I stated earlier, I put the mushrooms in, maybe you can see it here. They're very roughly cut. I'm gonna add a little bit of butter here. Just some oil so they can get started in. Turn it on again. No worries, it gets hot very quickly. All right, guys, so as soon as this gets hot, we're gonna add in my onions. Like I said, there's no need to, to dice these up. It's a rough cut, and they're gonna pretty much melt away for the most part. But I like my onions in there. I like onions. Okay, so we're gonna add these to here. Very simple, and we're gonna get to breaking these up a little bit so they're not such large pieces. So we're gonna break them up just a tad. They'll break up as they cook though. And then again, I just have some button mushrooms. Maybe you can see it under here. A little bit better shot. Like I said, you can get fancy. You can use shiitakes, but these work perfectly fine. So I'm just gonna add these to the mixture. All right, guys, started this up. And so the next thing I'm gonna do, like I always tell you, you got to season your vegetables. In this case, I'm only gonna use salt and pepper. So I'm gonna use a little bit of pepper here. All right, not too much of that because I'm gonna be adding, my beef stock, which has sodium in it. And so I don't want to I gotta watch my blood pressure. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna let this cook down. I'll show you another shot of it here in just a moment, and I'll be back, okay? So as you can see, the vegetables, the onions, and the mushrooms are cooking down very nicely. You can see the onions are getting really, really translucent. So now it's time to add the meat back. Well, actually, you know what I'm gonna do first? I'm gonna add the beef broth here, okay? All right, so I'm gonna add that first little batch of beef broth is probably about a cup, maybe a cup and a half, and I'm gonna add just a tad bit more. All right, and now we're gonna let that bring the temperature up. We're gonna bring the temperature up a little bit here. Let that get to bubbling just a tad. It's gonna take just a second. And in the meantime, like I said, I'm using sour cream. Now, sour cream, I didn't really realize this. I mean, I use sour cream in a lot of dishes now. It brings, I don't know what it is, it brings this flavor to my sauces. I just simply love that cream. I mean, I've discovered this within the last couple years, and I really love it. So if you haven't added some sour cream to maybe like a chicken and rice type dish, it brings a creaminess and a flavor that is, I love it. So give it a try. But in any case, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and add the meat back to this mixture here. And all the juices here, that's the good flavory part. All right, so we're gonna bring that up to a boil, and we're gonna add a little bit more chicken stock, or sorry, beef broth here. I got chicken on my mind. And we're just gonna simply, at this point, we're just gonna let that cook. We're gonna bring it to a boil, turn the temperature down, let it simmer. It is gonna take probably about a half hour to 40 minutes to simmer, so your meat can get nice and tender. Now, if you're using a harder, a little tougher cut of meat, you may wanna let that simmer a little bit more, but that's, that's to taste. So let's let that do what it's gonna do, and I'll be back as soon as it's tender enough, and I'll add the rest of the ingredients, okay, guys? We'll be right back. All right, guys, so I'm back. As you can see, everything's boiling away really nice. The meat has gotten really, really nice and tender. So now at this point, I'm gonna add my sour cream, guys. And for me, I usually use about a cup of sour cream, 8 ounces. Depends on how much meat and everything that I have. But I'm gonna be honest with you. The more sour cream, of course, the fattier the dish gets. But the tastier the dish gets as well. So, you know, you use your own judgment. Add what you want to. This may look like a lot, but of course it's gonna make it nice and creamy and it's gonna cook down, okay? For 1 second here, let me stir this up. I'm gonna bring the temperature down just a little bit. And as you can see now, it's starting to make its nice little creamy grayish sauce. Starting to melt pretty quickly, guys. So we're just stirring this up. And I believe, honestly, to be quite honest, when you add the sour cream, I think that gives it the Stroganoff portion of the dish. All right, so now we're just gonna let this simply marinate here on a low temperature and let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll show you the finished product. Guys, I am serving this as over a bed of egg noodles. So I use the big egg noodles. I'll show you those here in just a moment. The wide cut egg noodles. So I just simply serve this over a bed of those. So give us a moment. We'll be right back and I'll show you the finished product, guys. So we're back with the finished product, guys. I don't know what else to say. Another perfection on the plate, guys. Beef stroganoff. Nice, wholesome dish for your family, even if it's just for you. Very simple, very quick. Comes out perfect, guys, every single time. I'm telling you, that sour cream that you put in there, it really gives it the tang. So if you like this video, go ahead and like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to my channel. Hey, and also turn on your notifications. I post a video every single Friday, guys. Turn on your notifications, that little bell down there, to let you know exactly when something comes out. And be on the lookout, 2018 Basement Bars coming at you. All the newest and greatest talent in Indianapolis. Hey, this is Big Tone signing off. Peace.